Cottage Crochet podcast. My name is Hannah, and this is a podcast all about crochet, a little bit of knitting, a little bit of sewing, and generally living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live. If you are a new viewer, I am so happy that you have decided to stop by, and if you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming back to spend a little bit of crafty time with me. We have a lot to talk about today. I mean, when do we not? So we should just jump right in. Before I get started, I just want to say if you are looking for me anywhere on the interweb, you can find me as The Cozy Cottage Crochet on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is the place I am most active. I do try to keep up with Facebook, but sometimes I'm not quite as good as that. I have been posting a lot to Instagram stories, so if you want to see what my day-to-day life is like, you should definitely follow me on Instagram. On Ravelry, we have a group specifically for this podcast. That is where you can find out all the information about our crochet alongs, make alongs, and as well as just chat with the community. And then if you have any inquiries or anything to say regarding this podcast, questions, comments, concerns, please email me. That is the best way to get a hold of me. My email address is thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. How are you guys? It has been 2 weeks since my last confession. Okay, no. That's a little bit what it feels like. It feels like it's been a lot longer than 2 weeks. I know I say I have a lot to talk about every episode, but I really do have a lot to talk about this time, and it's a little surprising. So there were a few days, there's been like 4 days in the last 2 weeks where I have not had, for various reasons, the ability to crochet or touch yarn at all. So the fact that I have so much to show you is kind of shocking to me. I have a special announcement. You may notice that I am wearing my Treasure Island shawl, which is the very first crochet pattern that I ever released. It uses one skein of fingering weight yarn, one big skein I should say, so one that's probably about 115 grams. You can of course make this in any weight of yarn, and the instructions for that are in the pattern as well, but the pattern got a facelift. So because that was the pattern, the very first one that I ever released, it didn't have a stitch and row counter, it didn't have a schematic, and the format was a little bit different than all of the rest of my patterns going forward. And so I went back and updated it. So it's got a few more photos. It has a schematic with measurements. It has updated gauge information. It has a stitch and row counter for every single row. That is a feature that I try to include on all of my patterns. So I am really excited. And the reason that I updated that pattern is because my local yarn store, Stash A Place for Yarn, which has a location in St. Pete, a couple miles from me, and then a location in Tampa as well, are part of the Tampa Bay Yarn Crawl. And my crochet pattern, this Treasure Island shawl, is the crochet pattern that they are giving out for the Tampa Bay Yarn Crawl. So that was very exciting to me when Kristen reached out. So I updated the pattern, added a few more photos, added the schematic, and that's awesome. And I just want to say thank you very extra specially to a couple of people. One is Lisa from Happy to Hook Creations, who has talked about my cotton candy slouch beanie that I talked about on the last podcast episode, and a very extra special thank you to Debbie from the Canadian Crocheter, who has she's just the sweetest person, and she made not one, not two, not even three, she made 6 cotton candy slouch hats, which I was totally blown away by, and I don't know how to say thank you enough, Debbie. That was so sweet of you to mention my hat, to make so many of them, and to send people my way. I really appreciate it. And if you are a person who has bought any one of my patterns, I just say thank you so much. It helps me to be able to continue to do this, to keep this channel ad-free on YouTube. That is how I support the podcast. And the best thing you can do is make a project page on Ravelry so that other people can see your design. I have Cowl news and a giveaway winner to announce. So let me talk about the Love Your Stash Cal for a moment, because it is coming to a conclusion. There are so many finished objects in the thread on Ravelry. You still have time. It ends on the last day of February 28th. The only rule is that you had to use yarn from your stash. Whips are totally included as they are part of your stash. So you still have time to get your entries in. I have put together 8 prize packages. Yes, 8. So I will go over those at the end of the podcast because it's a lot and they're all very precariously stacked over here. So I don't want to mess with that right now, but I will show you all the prizes at the end of this episode. We also have an informal Year of the Sock knit along, crochet along for 2019, and there will be a prize drawn at the end of next month from that thread, because I will be drawing a prize once per quarter. So if you are making crochet socks or knit socks, then you can absolutely just enter those into the chatter thread, and we are just having an informal make along. But starting on March 1st, we have a new make along that is going to happen. It is called the SPREADTHEWARMTHMAL make along, and I will put the hashtag that you can use down below on the screen. There will be a link directly below in the description box so that you can see our chatter thread. I am going to open a finished objects thread once we get to March. And this is a make along to spread the warmth. So there are a few rules. One is you can do any fiber craft and you can sew. So anything that involves you creating something, that's why we labeled it a make along instead of a crochet along. You can knit, you can crochet, you can spin, you can weave, you can sew, you can embroider, you can do whatever you want, as long as you are making an object to give away. So last time I had opened a thread in our Ravelry group and had people go in and comment of their favorite charities and places to donate finished objects to. And there were 41 entries, and so I have selected a winner for these 2 skeins of hand spun yarn. This is a 4-ply hand spun. I don't know how anyone has gotten this. The person who made this, I don't know how they got it so even, but it's pretty incredible. And I'm pretty sure it was hand dyed as well. I am not entirely sure of the fiber content of this yarn, but it's definitely wool, and I am so happy to be able to pass this along. So using a random number generator, the person who popped up is Shirley Knits 123, who is, I believe, Shirley from Virginia. I will send you a message on Ravelry, and oh, where did you go? That is post number 3 in our thread in Ravelry, and she wanted to highlight the charity Cancer Kickin' Critters, which is they take toys, they take handcrafted toys, and she has said she's donated many toys to them over the few years, and that is wonderful. So I will send you a message on Ravelry, Shirley. I will need your full name and your address. Please respond to me within 2 weeks, and then I will ship this out in the mail to you right away. So I'm very excited. This thread that everyone has posted their favorite charities will remain open, and it is going to turn into the chatter thread for our make along. So go ahead, you can start chattering away, no problem. I have decided to expand the make along just a little bit. So before I said it would be anything that you're going to donate, but I'm actually going to expand it to anything that you are going to give away. So the only rule, there's only 2 rules to this podcast. What am I saying? There's only 2 rules to this make along. Number 1, you have to make it. You can't buy something and give it away. Number 2, you just have to give it away to someone else. You cannot receive monetary compensation for it. You can receive compensation in the form of hugs and love and eternal happiness, but you can't receive any money for it. The reason that I want to do this make along is last year, around this same time, we had a make along called the Knitted Knockers Cowl, where we made prosthetic breasts out of yarn for women who has been afflicted by breast cancer. And this year I wanted to do something similar. It's going to be my birthday at the end of April, and I will be turning 30. Terrifying. But what I think would be the best thing in the world is if we could get 300 finished objects, or more, but 300 things that are being given away. So I know that we have focused on ourselves previously. You are worth a good yarn, etc. Love your stash, love yourself, and I want you guys to make things for yourself, but one of the best things we get to do as crafters is put all of our love and all of our good energy into things that we make to give away to other people, to spread the warmth to them. So that is the only rule. You have to make it and you have to give it away. I have 3 skeins of fingering weight yarn, which are, of course I didn't bring them out here. You'll see it on the next episode, hopefully. I'm hoping to get started right away. For a shawl, I'm going to make the Just Feel Better shawl by Kalisha of the Quirky Monday Craftcast for a friend at my church, and she is the friend who gave me, if you saw on a few episodes ago, she gave me this bag, and she does not know anything about crochet or knitting or anything like that, but she took the time to research and give me a project bag that meant something to her. So she has been going through a little bit of a rough time recently, and I think she could use a Just Feel Better shawl. So I'm going to make some hats to donate, but I'm also going to make a shawl to give to her and I'm only gonna work on it when I'm feeling super happy, and I just want her to be wrapped in love, essentially, and that's what we love to do to people. So all you have to do is make something and give it away, and there will be amazing prizes. If you have been around over the last couple of episodes, you will have seen the incredible things that have been donated by viewers of this podcast, and I'm so thrilled. Like I said, there's 8 prize packages for this current Love Your Stash Cal that is ending, and there will be more for the Spread the Warmth Mal, because I think that is the absolute best thing we can do, is to spread the warmth to other people, and I think that should be rewarded and celebrated. So that is all the Cal news. If you have any questions about the Cal, please just click on the link to the Ravelry down below, the Ravelry group, and all of the information for everything that is happening as far as make-alongs for this podcast will be happening there. I do want to share something super cool that I am drinking. So this is a tea infuser. I don't know if you can see that. It says "You Endure" on it. So this I got for Christmas from my sister-in-law, and she gave me some tea, and it's amazing because I don't really have an ability to infuse loose leaf tea. So it has this thing down at the bottom where you put it, and then it unscrews from both ends. But what I have in here today is something that I've never tried before, and it was sent to me by a lovely viewer of this podcast, and also she is, hopefully you can see that, the Woolly Ferret. She sent me something called cold infusion. So it's tea that infuses in cold water. I have never heard of such a thing. It is called it's from the brand Tetley. I believe this is probably a UK company. I don't know where you would get it. She sent this to me from the UK. So this one is raspberry and cranberry. It smells amazing. So basically it comes in a little tea bag, and you put it in cold water and you let it infuse for 8 to 10 minutes, and then you can just leave it in there. But then once you've infused it, you shake it up, and at the bottom there's like this little ring of red essentially, and the minute you shake it, the whole thing turns into red, and it is delicious. I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna be drinking this a lot. I've been saving it because it hasn't been super hot, but now that summer is here, it's 80 degrees outside in Florida. Now that summer is here, I'm gonna be drinking this a lot, I think, and then once I run out, I'm going to be heartbroken. And I'm gonna have to buy some more or find something similar to do. So she sent me that one. There's a cucumber one, and then there was a blueberry one that was like a sampler that I haven't tried yet either because I've been saving them. So I have never heard of cold infused tea. If you love this, comment below. If you're in the US, tell me what your favorite cold infused tea is, because I would love to know and get more of this in my life. Are you ready to talk about some yarn? Because I am. I have some finished objects. I am calling this episode a bout of Startitis because only, let's see, only 2 projects that I'm going to show you saw last time. I have not touched my cardigans. I haven't touched any of my old whips that are sitting in the basket right over there next to the couch. I only started a million new things, as you will see. So I'm gonna go over the finished objects first. One of them was almost done last time, and it was my 4th pair of socks for 2019, Year of the Sock. These are my April socks. I am entering these into the Sock Theme Cal 2019 that Claudia of the Crochet Luna podcast is hosting. Claudia, hi, and I love you. And also Z, Zelda and NRJ3 on YouTube. They are going to Stitches West this weekend together, and I'm so jealous. But anyways, this yarn was hand-dyed by my lovely friend Melody of the Melody Crochet podcast. She sent this to me in a swap like a year ago, maybe a little more, and I've just been waiting to have the perfect project. And so last time I had 1 sock finished, and I was like right here on the 2nd sock, so I did the heel. This is a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and then I did the bind off. Now, I have already worn these and washed them and dried them. So I finished them pretty quickly after the last podcast episode, and I am putting these in for the month of April for the Sock Theme Cal. The month of April prompt is When It Rains, It Pours, and I think this is perfect. And also, the first sock that I worked on, actually, it rained the entire time. So I worked on it in over like 2 days and finished it, and I was on a work trip, and it rained for 2 straight days pretty much. So I think it's perfect to enter into the crochet along. So I just love like the little pops of purple. It's super comfortable. I love them. Like I said, I've already worn them, and I'm starting to get a little bit of a sock drawer, you guys. So exciting. This was my goal for 2019, is to make a bunch of socks because I need more wool socks in my life. So that is finished object number 1. Finished object number 2, you saw, but it was barely started. So it was living in a Star Wars bag that I made for myself a while ago, like when I first started sewing again. And it has a never tell me the odds on it. So when I am designing a pattern, what I try to put in my bag is the yarn, a pen or pencil, and a notebook. I have a lot of like tiny little notebooks, a lot. I have like 5, but that's a lot. This one looks like a sewing pattern, but it's actually a notebook, and my best friend Caitlin gave it to me. So you must write things down. If you are trying to design a pattern, you will not, hear me, you will not remember what you did. You won't. You've got to write everything down. And it is super irritating because it's interrupting the flow of your crochet. I totally get that. But if you don't write it down, it will be gone forever. So like, this is all my notes. So the yarn I am using for this pattern is, it's a Knit Crate yarn, Vita Lana, and it's the fingering weight. So it's a 70% superwash merino, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. Oh, it has been a dream to work with. You get 329 yards per 100 grams. So it's actually a little bit of a thicker or heavier fingering weight because normally you'd get about 400 yards. And this is the colorway Pimento. This is how much I have left. I haven't weighed this. It's probably about 20 grams. I know it's like blowing out the camera, but it really is orange. It is incredibly soft. It's got like this little tiny halo that is beautiful. I have loved working with this, and I actually frogged a little bit and re-crocheted it a couple of times, and it didn't fuzz up anymore, and it didn't get splitty. So I really, really like this yarn. That yarn came to me in a package of a huge donation package that a beautiful viewer sent to this podcast, and I immediately knew I had to design something with it. So last time you saw this, I was right here. I had done this much of the shawl, and now it is completely done. I am so excited about this. It's almost like, normally designs don't happen instantly. Like I have to think on them for a while, and I may have to swatch a few times and frog and rip out, and I honestly did very little frogging, and I didn't do any swatching for this. I just sat down, and this is what the yarn wanted to be. This is what the main part of the shawl looks like. So it's got 3 points, and then it increases. So you actually work this from side to side and do increases and decreases, and oh, I love it. Now, you can make this in any color. You don't have to make it in orange like I am, but I love it. And the reason that I love the 3 points, not just because it looks cool, but it actually functions to keep the back of your neck warm. So I'm gonna turn around a little bit. Hopefully you could see that, because there's bulk back there, and it's not just like this. There's as many layers on the back as there is on the front. And I really like that for a cold place. So I love how it looks. I love symmetry. This pattern will be called the Lake of 9 shawl. And a very keen-eyed observer of this podcast noted last time that basically we have an X pattern going on, but if you look closely, it's an IX, which is the Roman numeral number 9. So all of these, if you look at it this way, or if you look at it this way, I suppose, it doesn't matter, are Roman numeral number 9s. This is called the Lake of 9 shawl. It is actually, bear with me, I'm about to get really nerdy. In fact, this is gonna happen twice in this episode because 2 of my designs are inspired by nerdy things. So my husband plays video games. I love video games, but I never really got to play them as a child, so I am not good at them. And it's not like, oh, if I just practiced a little bit, I'd be better. I'm not good at them. and I can't dedicate the time in my life to be good at them because now I'm like almost 30 and I crochet all the time. The only game I play pretty much is Skyrim. I love Skyrim so much that I have the dragon from Skyrim, the main one, Alduin, tattooed on my leg. Nerd alert. But anyways, my husband plays video games, and one of my favorite things to do is sit on the couch and watch him while I crochet. And so he was playing the video game God of War, the newest one that came out, which is, first of all, an incredibly beautiful game. Secondly, don't let your kids play it. It is not for children. But basically, there is a Spartan Greek kind of god who, in all of the other games, I haven't watched any of the other games, so I can't speak to them, but I know that this one is completely different, the newest one, and so he's basically doing like Norse mythology. So he's fighting a lot of things, and where one of the main places that they hang out in the game is called the Lake of Nine. Now, I don't know enough about mythology to tell you what that means, to tell you that I know all about it, and I hope that it's not appropriation, because I'm not trying to appropriate culture, I'm just trying to appropriate a video game. So the Lake of Nine is where they had all of the portals to the different dimensions, etc. And that is what inspired this. I'm so excited. So this has not been blocked. I have not woven in my ends yet. I will say I've used almost 2 entire skeins of this yarn and 0 knots. Praise the Lord. Knots drive me insane. I never weave in my ends on a design until I am completely done with it, in case I have to frog, which happens a lot. But luckily, I don't have to frog this. So once I block this, it needs to soak and to be pinned out. Once I block it, I'll weave in my ends, and then I have the pattern basically written in that little book. I just need to sit down and write it in Word. And I don't know when that's gonna happen because I'm doing some traveling, but hopefully I will be able to make some progress on that by the next time we see each other, and then I will get it out to testers. So that is the Lake of Nine shawl. I'm so excited to have that finished. That's it. Those are my finished objects. I'll show you that one again once the pattern is released. It'll probably be a little while. Let me put this back on because I love it. This is my favorite thing that I don't know if this is my favorite design. I don't know that, yeah. Like I have other things that I like that are like, whoa, I designed that. But this, my Treasure Island shawl, is the one that I wear the most. It's the one I always reach for. Let's talk works in progress because I have a lot. And only one of these you saw last time. So I'm gonna do that one first. In fact, I'm gonna do the knitting first because there's only 2 small projects, and then we will I have 3 crochet projects that you have not seen yet. So of course my knitting project that you saw last time is living in this beautiful bag by Rebecca of Tree Frog Yarn, and these are my favoriteest buttons. Happiness is Crochet. Don't judge me that I have a knitting project in here. This is the button that lives on this bag. This is from Crochet Luna on Etsy. She has all kinds of buttons, and this was a lovely gift from a viewer of this podcast, but it's a enamel pin from Expression Fiber Arts, and I believe you can get those online. This is, ooh, and I have exciting news about this. Okay, so this is a pattern, a knitting pattern, that I'm actually testing for Brittany, who is Crochetland by Brittany on Instagram. This is her Quatro cable cowl. That is what it looks like. And I'm only this far. I am using Red Heart with Love in the colorway Papaya. And this is more of a long-term whip because I'm probably just gonna keep going until I run out of yarn, which will be a while. But it's so squishy. I love it. I did talk last time about the issues I was having after each cable with these holes. And some of you had recommended some good videos. There was a tutorial by Very Pink Knits about how to work on this. So if you can see down here, let's see, like right here, all of these holes, they're kind of big. And I have been trying to do her tutorial. And there's still holes there, but I don't personally think that they are as big as the ones that are down here. So it's working. And I think after it's blocked, it'll be a little bit better. Could be just the yarn that I'm using as well, and the fact that I've never done a knitted cable in my life. So I have put some repeats on that, but actually this pattern is available now. So Excuse that it's all folded up. I printed it out. This is what it looks like. Quatro cable cowl. It is a really easy pattern. If you have never knitted a cable in your life, you could do it because I did it. And she has a little photo tutorial on how to do it in the pattern. So I had 0 questions. I didn't have to look up anything. I will leave a link to this pattern down below so that you can check it out. And you will see why my progress is on this next time. I am gonna be doing some traveling next week, so I'm not gonna be able to take this one with me. I'm just gonna take some socks because I have very small luggage space. So I may not have as much progress as I would like to show on this next time, but it will keep growing. Okay, what else? The other knitting project I have complaints about. Complaints, I say. I don't have a complaint about the bag. This is a knitting llamacorn. It is a bag by Slipped Stitch Studios. I love their bags. And of course I have the Knit Picks Knitting Llama on it. This is a sock bag, so obviously I have a pair of socks in there. I have complaints about the yarn that I am using. So I bought this yarn at the beginning of the year or December or something like that for the year of the sock. So this was supposed to be my May socks for 2019. I don't like it. I don't like it. So I'm doing contrasting cuffs, heels, and toes. This is, let's see, Lang Yaoul? I don't know how to say that. In gray, it's 25% superwash merino nylon. I got this yarn when we were in Edinburgh, but basically it's just gray, so I'm using it for contrast. The main yarn, sorry if you heard noise in the background. My husband's working over there. He just went outside. Sorry, this is real life, you guys. The main yarn I am using is Barocco Socks. And you get 440 yards for 100 grams. It is 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon. And the color, of course, Barocco never puts it on their ball band. It's the color 1453. I don't know which one that is because I have not looked it up. So in this, there is no, on this label, nothing that shows you what the yarn will work up like. I split it into 2 50-gram cakes just so that I could work socks 2 at a time. And in the ball, it's blues and greens and like dark blues. That is right up my alley. My favorite color is blue, and it looks like it would stripe. It stripes, and I hate it. Look at this. So I don't mind the color sequence of the striping. What I mind is this. These little blips of like, ugh, I hate that so much. Like, just make a stripe. If this were in some kind of a pattern, I wouldn't mind it so much, but it's not. It's just like little spots. And I don't like it. So if that were the only issue, then I would be like, you know what? It's just the yarn dyeing is not for me. It's not really a problem. It's not the only issue. This sock yarn is about 15 bucks a ball-ish, depending on where you get it from. It is so splitty. Like, the reason that I am knitting socks and I take them to meetings and stuff is because I don't have to look at what I'm doing. Whereas in crochet, I do. This yarn splits like nobody's business. I have to pay attention to what I am doing, otherwise the yarn will be split. And I honestly would have frogged this sock. This is the first one. I have not started the second one yet, and pulled it out if I didn't have so much progress on it so far. So in one day, I was at a meeting like all day, pretty much, from like 8 a.m. until after lunch. And so I did the toe, and I did like all the way up to here in one day. If I hadn't had that much work on it done, I would have just pulled this out and chalked it up to whatever. Now, I will wear these socks. Of course I'll wear them. They're gonna be in shoes, so like who cares what they really look like, even if I don't like it. But I don't enjoy working on it. I don't wanna reach for this sock. The whole sock has been in a meeting, and it's only because I didn't have anything else to work on. If I had had anything else, I would not have worked on this sock. I'm almost to the point, like maybe another ½ an inch until I put the heel in, and then the first sock is basically done after that. There's only like maybe 25 more rows that I have to do. So I'm gonna finish them. My final complaint is there are knots. 2 knots in this much sock. Okay, I understand this is a commercially produced yarn, but it is $15 for one ball. So I expect it to not have knots, especially not 2 knots in not even 50 grams of yarn. And especially because it's a sock yarn designed for making socks, you don't want knots. I don't want extra ends to weave in. So basically what I'm saying is, maybe this is just me. Maybe it's the colorway and the specific ball that I got that's really splitty and has knots. I would love to know if you like Barocco socks yarn, because I love Barocco Vintage DK. I've made a lot of stuff with their yarn previously and really liked it. I like their cotton DK. I cannot recommend, based on this experience, their sock yarn. It's driving me insane. So if you have worked with Barocco socks and you like it, or if you had a completely different experience, please let me know. Because if it's like all of you say, no, it's not splitty, there's no knots, it's wonderful, then I will give it a second chance. But based on how irritated this first ball has made me, I will not be buying anymore. Hopefully those socks will be finished next time, but I don't know, because I really don't like working on them. But I don't have any other socks on the go. I need to actually wind up some socks so that I can have a fresh pair for my travels, because I'm leaving on Wednesday next week, and I will be at a conference for work. Wednesday, not really, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'll have 3 days of time where I'm just listening to speakers and hearing some research presented, so I can totally be knitting the whole time. And maybe I'll come home with a new pair of socks. I don't know. Basically, the bottom line is I hate those. And I feel bad, but my experience with that sock yarn so far has not been good. Let's talk about happier things. I have some more whips to show you. I'll show you the one that is not a design, and then I have 2 new designs to show you. So this is a commission. A lovely person that I know has ordered a pair of fingerless gloves from me. I have actually made this pattern before, and so she requested these. They're just called Fingerless Gloves by the author, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to say this wrong, is Mikey Van Court. That's her name. This is a free pattern, and if you go to my Ravelry project page, you will see my project page for these gloves, and you can just get to the pattern from there. She has it on her blog, and she actually has it in, let's see, English, so US terms, UK terms, and Norwegian? Yes. No. Dutch. She lives in the Netherlands. So she has multiple translations in her blog pattern. I am making these out of the same yarn that I used the first time I made them, which is Cottage Crochet socks, in the color Way Gray Marl, I believe. Yes. So I have, whoa, dropping everything. I have this ball, and then I have another ball as well. I'm just going to use all of this up. I think I will be breaking into the second ball, but not by much. So what I have completed so far is the cuff. I'm about to start increasing for the thumb. So you put it on like this. Now in the pattern, she calls for you to do 1 more repeat before you start increasing for the thumb, but I know that the person I'm making these for wants them to be a little bit shorter. So the last time I made these, I actually added 2 full pattern repeats because the person wanted them to be longer. But these do not take much time, and just, you can tell how you grow as an artist and as a maker, because the first time I made these, I remember it took me forever to make the first one, and I was like counting and I was confused, and this one I did in like, I don't know, an hour yesterday while I was holding my niece. So super great. Cottage Crochet is a little bit scratchy, but as soon as you soak it and give it a block, oh my gosh, it softens up amazingly. So these will, fingers crossed, definitely be done next time, because like I said, they're a commission, so they need to take priority over some other things so that I can give them to the lady who ordered them. And she has also ordered a pine, for me to make one of my pine forest cowl patterns, the actual cowl for her, but I have to order some yarn online for that, so I don't know when I'll be starting that. Are you ready for more designs? So one of them is almost finished, but I just ran out of yarn. I knew I was gonna run out of yarn, so it's not a problem. I am using Red Heart with Love Chunky in the colorways Pewter and White, so it's gray and white. This is how much I have left of the white. This is going to be called the Winter Hold Shawl. And this is what it looks like. It's gigantic, of course, because it's made with chunky yarn. It is a triangle shawl, and it is very textured. So I will just show you, and hopefully the white isn't blowing out the camera too much. I've got this very squishy texture, and it's actually very stretchy. Oh, I love it. I kept trying to do like crazy design things with this shawl and ripping it out because it just wants to be simple and classic. And I love it. Now, this is called the Winter Hold Shawl because, as I said, I am a Skyrim fanatic. That is a video game. And there is a place in the game called the College of Winterhold. It's the magic college that you go to. And it is so cold in the game, of course, not in real life. It's very, very cold in that place. So it's on like a top of a mountain, and there's like crazy wind that blows, and if you're not bundled appropriately, it will like decrease your stamina points. So you need to be bundled up in a very, very thick, cozy shawl. And you can see that this is where I ran out of yarn. Right here. This yarn is, as I said, Red Heart with Love chunky. So I think I spent $12. This is 3 balls of gray and 1 ball of white. I do need a 4th ball of gray, but I knew as soon as I had this idea, once it was crystallized, that I would need another ball. And I'm also going to be making matching gloves to go with them, to go with the shawl. So it's fine. And anyways, I crochet tightly. So even if I had made it to the end of this row, I still want to put tassels on this, and I would never, you always need to build in a little bit of leeway and yardage into your patterns if you're a designer, so that people who crochet slightly differently than you and don't bother to check their gauge are not going to run out of yarn immediately. So there will be tassels. This row will be completed. I spent probably $12 on these 4 balls of yarn. I think Red Heart with Love chunky, I got it at Joann's. I think it's normally like $5-ish a ball. However, coupons, y'all. I had a 30% off your entire regular priced purchase coupon, and I had 3 50% off 1 regular price item coupons. So I got this for very cheap. And some other stuff. So, I mean, even if you paid full price, it's like 20 bucks. Which I think, why would you pay full price? Unless you're ordering it online. You should use your coupons. So this is the Winter Hold Shawl. This hopefully will be done as well next time. This pattern is also pretty much already written up in the little book. And this is the little book that Claire's from Crochet Cake sent me. There's all my notes. So I will be writing that up very soon. Shove this back in here. And sending it out to testers. Really happy with this shawl design. And finally, the one that is slower than the rest, but that I am most excited about, is a design that I showed you the yarn for it last time. And I said that I tried to force it into a couple projects, and it just didn't work because the yarn is so colored and speckled and variegated, and it's just beautiful. This yarn wants to be Tunisian crochet. Now, I have not written a Tunisian crochet pattern ever, but I'm going to, because this is what this yarn has to be. So it's living in my sheepy bag that I made out of the tea towel I got in Ireland. Living in here is the yarn by Life in the Long Grass Studio that I got in Edinburgh. Although I bought it in Scotland, this yarn is dyed in Ireland. And this pink, I haven't even broken into it yet for the pattern itself, but it's amazing. And the one I'm working on right now, the ball I'm working from, is this. I cannot get enough of these colors, you guys. Every time I pick this up to work on it, it makes me insanely happy. Let's see what color this is. This is the colorway Dreaming. And I don't want to take, I don't know if I can. This is Wild Rosebud. I don't want to take this out because it's going to mess up get everything tangled. So I don't have a ton of progress The entire pattern is pretty much written for this as well because it's just going to repeat. It is going to be a cowl that you work flat and then seam. So I only have a little bit of it done. Yes, that's what it looks like. Look at this yarn. It's this, if I put it too close to the camera, it kind of blows out a little bit. Basically, it's this mint green. Like, this is a true color that's showing up with all of these amazing speckles. So this is Tunisian crochet. We've got stockinette stitch, well, Tunisian knit stitch, and then we have texture that makes a diamond pattern. And there's gonna be a big diamond and a little diamond, and then it will repeat. So big, little, big, little. The only thing is I have to count when I'm doing this. Even though it's worked flat, you have to count so you can keep track of your rows. And I worked 9 rows on this the other day and I ripped out 3 of them. So I gave up because I can't count. And then the next day when I went to pick it up, the last row I had done had the wrong stitch count. So I don't even know what that was about. But yeah, I'm really, really, really happy with this. Of course it needs blocking, but I can't do that when I'm working on it because this is what happens in Tunisian crochet until the garment is big enough. It just rolls up like a sausage, kind of like stockinette does in knitting. So I basically love it, love it, love it so much. I will be working on this a little bit today. I don't know how much I'll have done next time because like I said, I'm gonna be traveling. Although this is about sock sized at the moment, so maybe I can take that with me and a pair of socks and that's it. I am using a 4.5 millimeter Tunisian crochet hook. This is a Denise hook, and I will tell you, because I know you guys have been interested to see what crochet hooks I will be using going forward. I will be using the Denise hooks, and I am currently saving up my pennies to buy an interchangeable set. So I have used a 5 millimeter Denise hook on the soft gray cardigan that I am working on, although I haven't worked on it at all the last 2 weeks. And this is a 4.5 millimeter Denise crochet hook that was sent to me a while back by a viewer of this podcast who found me through Tunisian crochet. So I swatched using this one, and then I was like, I don't know if I like the feel of that. Let me go down a hook size. But of course I only have a 4.5 and a 5 in this particular hook. And I have my Knitter's Pride Tunisian crochet hook set. So I was like, let me pull out the 4 millimeter hook, and I swatched on that. Oh my word. The difference between these two hooks is incredible, and I'm 100% sold. Now that I've been using this and had to go back to using the Knitter's Pride ones, I'm not going back. I won't be using those again. I'm definitely gonna get an interchangeable set of this. The plastic is so smooth, like the glide on this is incredible. The tip on the Knitter's Pride one is so sharp that it like literally pokes a hole in my finger every time I accidentally touch it. This is smooth, but it's still sharp enough to get through. All of these different cables, so if you order like an individual one, it comes with a cable that's this long and an extender and a stopper. So I could make a really long cable, but this is perfect size for this project. And it's flexible and it weighs nothing. Weight in crochet hooks is actually really important to me because I have arm problems, and the more it weighs, that's why I never really liked my Furls crochet hook, because it weighed so much that it made my arm hurt. This is amazing. I highly recommend. I've been working 2 projects with these now, and I tried to go back to my old Tunisian crochet hooks, hated it. So I can't recommend them more. I will be getting a set. And I want to show you because I got a little bit of happy yarn mail this time. And there is a viewer of this podcast named Becky who is so lovely, and she had a cord set for the Denise hooks. Even though I don't have the interchangeable set yet, she was like, I have these and I'm not going to use them. Could you use them? And it was right after I had decided 100% I am getting an interchangeable set once I have saved up money for that. And she was like, can you use these? And I was like, yes. So she sent me they're long, so all the Denise hooks come with shorter cords and extenders, but these are actually really long cords for like making garments and giant shawls. So there's a 24-inch cord, 30, 40, and 52. 52-inch cord, that is insane. So that's for like a blanket. So I'm really, really excited. I don't know when I will be getting those. Like I said, I have to save my pennies. But it's definitely something that I will be working towards buying. and doing more Tunisian crochet. So I have not ever done a Tunisian crochet pattern before, but this one is very simple because it just uses Tunisian simple stitch and Tunisian knit stitch, and it is worked, of course it's worked flat, but basically you have the same number of stitches. There's no increasing, no decreasing, unless you do it by accident, in which case your stitch count will get off. So the pattern for that's pretty much written up as well. I just need to do it and actually make the sample. The other thing that came in the mail over the last 2 weeks is a package, a lovely, lovely little package with a cute little card that says thank you from Ella of the No Catchy Name Crochet podcast. And I had sent her some yarn. So basically I did a project at work where we were doing stage design, and I actually used yarn to make backdrops. And so I had purchased a ton of Red Heart white in like jumbo balls, the really, really big ones. And we used a lot. But I had like three giant, like 3 or 4 balls left over of that white yarn, and maybe about 2/3 of each jumbo ball left. And I was like, I could shove these in my closet, but I'm not gonna use them. Like there's no way I'm gonna use that much white Red Heart acrylic, because I just don't make amigurumis like ever, unless someone specifically orders one, because they drive me insane. So I reached out to Ella and I was like, can I send this to you? Because I know you use this yarn all the time and I don't want it to just waste space in my closet. So I sent it to her and I said, don't send me anything. She sent me some stuff from her stash. Ella, you didn't have to send me anything. But I appreciate you. And if you don't watch the No Catchy Name Crochet podcast, you totally should. It has been one of the joys in my life to watch you, Ella, and to watch Jesse grow up. Jesse is her son. And just to hear him talk. And when you first started uploading videos, he didn't talk at all, and it's just the sweetest. So she sent me 2 stroll gradients, which I have never used these before. These are from Knit Picks. They're 75/25 merino nylon, 458 yards per 100 grams. This is the colorway Pet Rock. And this is the colorway Kale Yeah. So I've never used this before, and I'm excited to try it out. I don't know what I'm gonna use it for. I don't know. A shawl, a cowl, a design, I don't know. I've just been like, we've been living next to the couch and I've been looking at them and being like, So that's normally how I design, is I just look at something and I'm like, and then eventually an idea will come to me. I don't know if I'll design with them. Who knows? It'll depend. And I also have done a tiny bit of sewing. So I have not cut out the pattern for my Harry Potter dress. I cut out the fabric for a bunch of like 4 or 5 bags, but then I had a snafu at the beginning because my rotary cutter needed a new blade. Like somehow, I don't remember dropping it or anything, but it has like a divot in it. So I had to go buy a new blade for my rotary cutter. So that put me off like several days. And then once I cut everything out, I sat down to do a bag, and I did one that has already gone off to its recipient. So I'm not gonna show you that. It took me like 3 hours to do one bag. Like I just kept making ridiculous mistakes, and finally I was like, you know what? Sewing is not for today. I'm just gonna crochet. And then I sat down and the Winterhold shawl popped out. So clearly that was a day for crochet. And then the next day I sat down and I sewed for like an hour and a half, 2 bags. Whatever. My sewing mojo was with me one day and was not the day before. So I have made 2. One, they're both little sock bags. This fabric was sent to me by Allie of Little Drops of Wonderful. Oh, and I forgot to show you, my crochet gloves are living in the beautiful dodgy bag that she made me. And in true dodgy bag spirit, this is a dodgy bag, Allie, because I sewed the lining in upside down. Ridiculous. So this is the inside. And as you can see, it is upside down. Although this part is upside down, but I made a pocket and this part is right side up. It's still cute. This will probably be a giveaway for a future episode. So this is dodgy bag number 1. Dodgy bag number 2 looks like this. These beautiful little blue flowers. It's plain blue on the inside. This is like a cotton. I mean, they're both cotton, but this is more like a canvasy kind of material, like a thin canvas. And this one has a pocket as well that you can see. So I've been practicing pockets. So this fabric, I actually got at IKEA. I didn't even, like, I've heard people getting fabric at IKEA, but I never really thought about it, and I had to go to IKEA for work to buy a bunch of new lamps for whatever. It's not important that I had to buy lamps, but basically I walked by the fabric and I was like, they have fabric? Now, it was a really small fabric section. There was maybe like 10 bolts of fabric, but for a yard of this like semi-canvasy fabric, it was $5. And then for a yard of this blue was like $3. So yes, please. I have 2 more bags cut out like this that I'm gonna make. I haven't put drawstrings in these yet, but yeah, that's my sewing adventures. We'll see if I have any next time. Probably not, because I will be traveling, as I said. In fact, we can talk about that. So today is Friday. The date will be, let's see. So I'm recording this on the February 22nd. You'll see this on the 23rd. I am leaving to fly to Washington, D.C. for a conference on Wednesday next week, and I will not be back until Sunday morning. So I'm taking like an early flight, and then I'm gonna land in the Tampa airport and rush immediately to work, and then rush immediately after work from home because it's my husband's birthday. And we have plans. I've made some plans. So it's gonna be kind of a crazy week. I have very limited luggage space. I'm only taking a carry-on and a little backpack for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 days. And I know some of you who are light packers are probably like, that's no big deal. It's a big deal for me. I am not a light packer. I don't like it. But I'm gonna have to carry this luggage all over the place, and I also don't want to pay for a bag. So I'm taking a carry-on, and I have to leave room in my carry-on also for my pillow, because I will not travel without my pillow. It goes with me everywhere. So that's gonna happen. So the crochet project that I'm probably gonna take to work in the airport on the plane is gonna be this Tunisian one, and then I'm gonna have some socks to work on. So I'll probably take the sock that I hate because if I have to work on it, then I will. And then I'll take another set of yarn so I can have just a backup. So I'll basically have 1, 2, 3 cakes of yarn, and that's all I'm taking, with the 1 hook that I need and then 1 knitting needle that I need. I do get a lot of questions when I talk about knitting socks, or people are like, what pattern do you use? What needles do you use? And I always forget to talk about it. So I learned how to knit socks using the Sockmatician's Toe Up Sock Recipe. And that is still the pattern that I use, with only 1 modification, and that being I have started adding in a fish lips kiss heel to all of my socks because it is so much faster and easier. And so I have the cast on and the toe increases memorized from the Sockmatician's book. I know how long to make my sock before I add the fish lips kiss heel. I have the fish lips kiss heel memorized now because I've made several pairs, and then I do 15 rounds of plain stockinette after the heel and 12 rounds of ribbing for the cuff. I have decided on these, because I do 2x2 rib, but I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna try a 1x1 or a 3x1. I need it to pull in a little bit more, and I'm trying to mess with that without making the sock taller and without decreasing stitches. So we'll see. Sometimes they just get a little bit loose around my ankle because they're shorty socks. So I'm gonna be messing with the ribbing, but basically I do 15 rows of stockinette and then 12 rows of ribbing, and then I bind off. And that's it. Then I weave in my ends. I use a ChowGoo 2.25 millimeter needle. I work the toe increases on magic loop, and then as soon as I get to the stitch count that I'm going for, which is 64 stitches, I switch to my ChowGoo 2.25 millimeter 9-inch circular, and I do the rest of the sock on that. That's how I roll. That's what I do. So I will be traveling next week, and then working, and then the week after, oh, it's gonna be crazy. So I'll be trying to catch up from having been gone for 3 days from work. And then that next week, there will be a Tuesday and Wednesday conference that everyone I work with is going to, which is only like an hour from my house, so it's not a big deal, but that's another 2 days of like actual work that I will be missing. So it's gonna be pretty insane. And we will see how much time I will have to work on anything or to write patterns, but it's fine. It doesn't matter. Everything will work out. It's not a big deal. As far as a life update is concerned, if you have been listening to me complain that my health issues have not resolved, they have completely resolved. I am back to 100%, although I haven't really started exercising again. I need to get on that, but I probably won't until I come back from my trip. But I am back completely to 100%. So that is very helpful for me to know. It's a big relief, and it's kind of like a weight lifted, and I'm just excited to get back to my normal life. And also, the reason it's kind of incredible that I have so much done is I've worked a lot this week. So I had, like, on Tuesday a 12-hour day, Wednesday was a 14-hour day, Thursday I didn't work so much, so I was able to get some done. Excuse me, my voice is getting croaky. But I had a lot of time last weekend to work. But basically, right after I had recorded the last podcast episode, there was just a space of 2 days where I did not touch yarn pretty much at all. And I was just really depressed. There's no other way to say that. And you guys know that I'm pretty open about my mental health. I'm pretty open. I've struggled with anxiety. I still do. Crochet is something that I use to manage that in crafting. And basically, there were just a lot of emotions that I was dealing with from everything that's happened in my life over the past 2 months. And I kept, like, pushing them away. But you can't do that. They will come out. And so basically, I just decided that I was just going to feel sad, and it was okay. And it is okay to not be okay. And so for 2 days, I just did what I had to do, and I kind of stared at the wall a little bit, and I watched some TV, and I didn't create anything. I wrote a little bit of poetry, which I haven't done in forever. I used to write a ton when I was a teenager, and I was depressed. So that really helped because I was still being creative, but using my words, not my hands. So that really helped. And then after a few days of that, I woke up and I was like, it's okay. I will say, it happened, so the last episode went live 2 weeks ago, Saturday. And on the day that it went live, I was performing a wedding for some of our dearest friends, and it was like the most wonderful, happiest, like I'm so thrilled for them. However, that was an all-day thing from like 10 a.m. until 11 p.m. at night. And on Sunday, the next day, I experienced what I can only describe as introvert burnout, which I am not an introvert, and I don't think, like, sometimes, I mean, I like to be alone, I like time by myself, etc. But I was so exhausted and, like, mentally and emotionally drained from being excited and happy all day and around so many people. That's what started my couple of days of just being like, you know what, I need to deal with this. I need to recover. I need to take some time for myself. And it wasn't their fault, right? I was just in an emotional place where that drained all of my energy. But if you're an introvert and that's how you feel after hanging out with people all the time, oh, man, that is a lot. I feel for you. And I think that it's dumb that people are always like, you should just hang out with people more. You should do this. You should do that. Nobody tells extroverts that you should just be alone more. That's ridiculous. And if it's that exhausting, I can completely understand why you would need an introvert recovery day, essentially. So I took a couple of days and I just did some self-care and did some writing and didn't crochet at all. And then after that, I felt a little bit better. And the fourth day, I had such like an intense burst of creative energy, which is kind of, I mean, it kind of comes in waves, right? Like there's times in your life where you'll be like, I don't feel creative at all. And then there's times where you'll have all the ideas and you'll have to write them down. And that's where those 3 designs came out. Since then, I haven't really been inspired to create anything else. I just started all the things. But I finished one and I'm almost finished with another one. So I feel like that's fine. So yeah, I don't know what the point of all that is other than to say, take care of yourself. If you need a day, take a day. Your mental health is important. It is okay not to be okay. You don't have to put pressure on yourself to create something amazing all the time because that will just make it more stressful. Sometimes you just have to sit with whatever you're feeling and let it happen and face it. And that's really the only way through sometimes. So without further ado, I am going to talk about the prizes for the Love Your Stash Cal. Because of some amazing, generous, wonderful viewers of this podcast, have put together 8 prize packages. 8! I know, how exciting is that? I love giving prizes away. Love it. I love sharing yarn and warmth and fun and happiness. So thank you if you have donated anything to the podcast. It doesn't matter how big or how small, I appreciate you the same. You are enabling me to spread the warmth to other people, and I love crochet alongs. And normally in a general crochet along, there's like a prize for the finished object thread, maybe 2, there's a prize for the chatter thread, maybe an Instagram prize. Oh, we have 8 prizes, and there will be even more for the Spread the Warmth make along. So I haven't put those together yet, but there will be some fantastic prizes for that as well. So I'm just gonna go through these in no particular order. This is, and when I draw prizes, I will have the prize winners picked by the next time I record, just so you know. You probably will not know what you're getting. If there's someone who is out of the country who wins a prize, you will probably get the one that weighs the least, because that will, shipping is expensive, y'all. But other than that, I'm just gonna send you random things. So, prize number 1, 4 skeins of this ice yarn in the color, this is 100% baby acrylic. This is the colorway Magic Baby. I love this colorway. This will also come with 2 balls. So you get 6 balls of yarn. Oh, I'm sorry, I just shook the whole camera. Of this Cascade North Shore Prince. This is an acrylic yarn. However, to me, like, this is really heavy. This is 200 yards, so it should be a worsted weight, but look how thin it is. This is heavy yarn. It feels like cotton, but it's still machine washable and dryable, and it is the colorway, I don't know. I don't know what color it is. 506? I don't think it has a name. So you will get these 2 balls as well, and a coloring book. This says Color Me Motivated, and it has all kinds of like wonderful messages. Like, yes you can. And let's see. A man is happy so long as he chooses to be happy. That should say woman, right? Be yourself. So it's a coloring book. So all of this will be 1 prize. I'm sorry for like all the rustling that's about to happen. I can't control it. I'm sorry. Another prize will include 6 ergonomic pink crochet hooks. This is awesome. It will also include a little bag, little sock bag, handmade by me, yours truly. So it is a dodgy bag. Don't judge me. It's pink on the inside, and it has all these little birds on the outside. And also this prize will include a skein of yarn that I purchased back in November from AcornWillows. That is her Etsy shop. This is the colorway First Frost. It's so beautiful. And I will leave a link directly to her shop down below in the description box. That is Melissa. She used to be known as Melissa Dawn Wool Artist, and now she dyes the most lovely yarn. So I bought this from her to give away as a prize. So that will be prize number 2. Prize number 3, you saw last time, this amazing crochet planner. So incredible. As well as 2 skeins of this crazy kaleidoscope yarn that I love. So that is prize number 3. But wait, there's more. There's so much more. Prize number 4, 3 cakes, 3 sweet roll cakes in the colorway Blueberry, Blackberry Swirl. So you can make a pretty good sized project with 3 of these. It's essentially 300 grams, I think. Let's see. There's something in my eye. Oh no, it's 245 yards, 140 grams. It will also come with a crochet hook set. They're wooden. I think that's super cute. And it will come with a little tiny magazine that has some patterns in it from Simply Crochet. It has this hat pattern. It has, let's see, these gloves. And this hat pattern. So that will be a prize. The next prize will include 4 skeins of this Bernat satin yarn. Now, this is not my color, but I wish it was, because I love this shiny tan gold kind of combo. Let's see what the color is. Taupe, I think it's taupe. So you will get 4 skeins of this and a beautiful handmade bag from Teresa Albert, who donated these quite some time ago. She donated 2, so 2 prizes will include this. It's from Daddle Designs, which I will put a link to directly down below. You should go and support her. This is a beautiful handmade project bag. It is lined and interfaced, like it's very sturdy. It's got a zipper and a zipper pull. And also, this is her little tag on the inside. On the back is a little embroidered sheep. That's amazing. So those 4 skeins of yarn are gonna come with this lovely, lovely handmade bag. So Teresa, if you're watching, thank you so much for donating that. It's such a beautiful prize. The next prize is, you'll get a crochet hook case. It does have some notions in it, some yarn needles and a tape measure. And it's got space for all your hooks and some notions and all of that. So you will get this hook case as well as a sweater's quantity. So 5 balls of this Loops and Threads wool-like yarn, which is an acrylic nylon blend. I love this yarn. This is the colorway Chocolate. So good. You will get 5 balls of this. This is from my stash. Someone had sent this to me quite some time ago, along with some other wool-like, and I used it to make my blurred line sweater, but I just can't see me making anytime soon, making a brown sweater, even though it's beautiful. So I thought that I would pass that along to you guys. Someone will get a sweater's quantity of brown yarn. The next the next prize is also from my stash. You will get approximately 10 skeins of this Fibra Natura Naturaline yarn. It is a 50-50 cotton linen blend. There are 5 of each. So there are 4, let's see. There are 3 untouched complete white skeins. There are 3 pretty much untouched blue skeins, so that's 6. And then there are a bunch of these. So I had actually frogged this for my project, and the yarn is great. It just was not gonna work for a garment. That's what I wanted it for. But I swatched for it. It's a beautiful yarn. You could do all kinds of stuff with this, especially like make any kind of housewares. This will hold up so well. And it's just been in my stash. I have all these little balls, plus the 6 skeins that really haven't been opened yet. And I would love it if it could be used. So you're gonna get almost 10 skeins of cotton linen blend yarn, as well as the other bag that Teresa from Daddle Designs donated. So it's polka dots on the inside. This is a sweater-sized project bag, in my opinion. It's got a box bottom. It's got this beautiful quilted patchwork. It's also lined, interfaced. It's so gorgeous. So that is the 7th prize. There's one more. Sorry, going way off camera. This is the very last one, and this one I just put together because I thought it was fun. It has 3 skeins of various yarns. So this is Red Heart Soft in the colorway Teal. This is Big Twist Chunky in the colorway Deep Purple. This is Red Heart with Love in the colorway Peacock. And you will get this book. This is a book, so all of this yarn was donated, but this book is from my stash when I was very first learning how to do amigurumis. I bought this book online and I used it, but I don't need the book anymore. So I wanted to pass it along. I made actually several things in here. So let's see if I can show you. I made the foods. So I made this carrot. I made the strawberry and the Oreo cookie. And the Oreo cookie I actually made a project for on Ravelry. I made a red velvet Oreo cookie. I made the little cupcakes that are called cute cakes. I did not make the cheeseburger with the works. That looked like too much work. But there was something else in here. I made about 10 of these, the Mighty Little Mouse, for my cat to play with a while back when we had a cat. And then I started, there's something else. I think I started this fawn, but I ran out. I don't know, I never finished it. So you will get this book and these 3 yarns, which are perfect for making amigurumi. So it's like a little amigurumi prize pack. This will actually go to a person who has made an amigurumi. And then this will be thrown in as well. These are just kind of novelty yarns that I thought might be fun for like hair or something like that on an amigurumi. It's kind of crazy. It is 100% wool, and it just says color 11, but it is Shannon made in Italy tacky yarns. So I just thought this would be really fun to add accents to your amigurumi pieces. So all of that is prize number 8. Like I said, depending on where you live in the world, you will determine the weight of the prize that you get, although that prize specifically will definitely go to someone who has made an amigurumi. I will have the prizes drawn next time I record, and they will be at the very beginning of the video. And then you will have a couple of weeks to get back in touch with me with your address. So if you have entered the Love Your Stash Cal, please, please, please do come to the next video. Make sure you check your Ravelry messages and your Instagram messages. I will do my best to reach you and to get a hold of you. But if someone doesn't respond to me, then I will draw another winner in a few weeks after that. So I think that is all I have to share with you today. I thank you for being here. It's been a lovely time. I am going to edit this, get this uploaded. I have to work tonight. It's Friday, and then tomorrow we're going to Busch Gardens. And then Sunday I'm working like a billion hours. So it's gonna be kind of a crazy weekend. But when is my life not crazy? That's just normal, right? So until I see you again, happy crafting. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.